Greetings, it's Yophi Smith coming to you. It's pretty early in the morning. It's 12:45. This clock says 12:46 now. On this January 17th, I was coming to do a review on a book that I had read. Recently, I did a video on heaven and hell, and because I have received visions of both, or at least part of both. And a follower of mine, a brother of mine, subscriber, so to speak, he contacted me, let me know that some of the things that I was saying was very similar to other people's revelations of it. So he sent me some things in the mail, and I just got done reading one of them. Now, this is the book that I wanted to do a review on. It's called A Land Unknown, Hell's Dominion by B.W. Melvin. I don't know what the B.W. stands for, but that's irrelevant. If you want to look it up, I'll just give it again, just a little image. A Land Unknown, Hell's Dominion, B.W. Melvin. Wanted to talk about this for a little while. It took me a few days to read it. You know, I have children of my own. I work multiple jobs, so I don't get as much reading time as I would like. But I just wanted to talk about this book. In this book, Mr. Melvin, he's an evangelist now, but during the time that this book occurred, or I'll say the events of this book, he was not. He was not even a believer. And he had an NDE, near-death experience, and he describes what he saw in this near-death experience. Now, I described in my video that I did not have a near-death experience. Mine was more of a vision. It was nowhere near as long as this book, and a lot of the things that I saw do not match this book. So what my friend, my brother, sent me, he actually sent me 3 different books. So the one that I was describing, the vision of hell that I was describing, didn't particularly match this one, but it was very interesting to say the least. So in this book, I don't want to spoil too much, so I will say spoilers, but just not major. In this book, Mr. Melvin talks about his time as an unbeliever, and basically he dies, so to speak, and gets to see hell. And I say gets to see hell because if you read this book, it would be a privilege for him, because those who were there did not get to leave. Similar to what I said, those who were there in my vision, you don't get to leave. It's not something that, okay, punishment, it's over with, here's my spanking, let me go out and play. No, you get here, this is it. The difference I can say between my video and what this book is, this book goes into great detail about hell and the things that he saw. There's still a couple of things that I am not going to say in disagreement with, but I don't quite understand. And it's amazing that Jesus said that the one thing that I found that is difficult for me to understand, that I'm going to seek the Lord on, after I was asking, Lord, that's pretty tough to understand. I don't understand that. And then as I'm reading, Jesus says, this is a very difficult teaching. This is a very difficult lesson. So I was just like, okay, well, that makes sense. So I recommend it for anyone who is curious about the supernatural. I will say this. It is probably the most frightening book that I've ever read as far as the description. And to know that he left out some of the things that he experienced there is pretty daunting. I am glad that I am a believer after reading this book. here's what I have learned. That a book as detailed as this one, as great as it is, this would probably, in my first mind, your first thoughts, it would probably frighten anyone to go to where he went to and to experience what he experienced, and to see the demons that he saw, the way that they taunt and mock and curse, and it's very, very daunting. And he describes it in such detail that you can really grasp what he's talking about. So it's pretty intimidating. I would recommend it to anyone to understand that hell is real and you do not want to go there. However, what I also began to think, you get those second thoughts. You start to analyze and understand that the reason as to why this is upsetting to me to read this book and to see it so daunting and so is because I am a believer. However, there are people who can read this book right here and they'd find a reason as to why they don't need to believe anything in it. As breathtaking as it might be, the descriptions, if a person is an unbeliever, no matter what you say or do, they're not going to believe. I can guarantee that some of you who are subscribed, who purchased this book, you might find a reason as to why you don't want to believe it. I believe what happened to this man. I do not completely understand it. I've never experienced it. His vision of hell is a lot different, and I can say a lot worse than my own. It was a lot longer. It was a lot more painful. It was a lot more descriptive. He could see more, hear more, smell more. However, it was just a lot more graphic, I can tell you that. So I recommend any Christian get this book, A Land Unknown, Hell's Dominion by B.W. Melvin. Read it, post in the comments if you get it. We can have a discussion on this. I welcome any discussion. I don't want to spoil too much, but I welcome any discussion in the comments about this book. It's definitely something that I believe believers should read. It's frightening. It's good. Not frightening in a way that Job was fearful, but frightening to know that if any part of this is true, that people would go there and not be able to leave. It makes you very appreciative of Christ and the love that he has for us in connecting us to the Father, and how deceptive these demons are, because there were a lot of people there who were deceived into being there. So pick it up, post in the comments, and I'll talk with everyone. Anyone who wants to talk, contact me. You got my Facebook and Yophi Smith. Just contact me and we'll talk. All right. Peace to all.